All right, I'm out here with Mayeda, who's a forester with the Natural Resources Conservation Service. And we're talking about erosion in the burn out here. And my question was just, if you're a landowner and you've got a stream that's severely burned, where you should focus your energy on trying to prevent erosion in the storms this fall.
So I think one of the things to always remember when we're trying to prioritize is start with the low-hanging fruit. So where do you have access and where would be your biggest bang for your buck? And when thinking about sedimentation into creeks, especially post-fire, where is a big impulse going to be that you can control? And that's going to be working on your roads. And so it's thinking about always draining your roads, getting that water off as quickly as possible and not concentrating and accumulating sediment to deliver. It's also, I think, stream crossings are going to be really important because you have the potential for a lot more water to come through now that we've burned this whole landscape, the potential for a lot of large woody stuff to go into the stream and to be washed down, and it can actually plug your culvert. And then you're not only getting any sediment that's in the stream, but then you have the potential to blow out your crossing and all of the fill in there too. So I would think in prioritization, thinking about upgrading your crossings to make sure that they can hold and are big enough to let water through, and potentially woody debris would be a good starting place.
And so what are some resources for people to, like, if they're in a hurry to try to put some bigger culverts in on the road, who can they talk to?
I think that they can reach out to the Resource Conservation District and also can ask for some technical assistance from their NRCS office. NRCS funding is going to work a little slower, but they can provide technical assistance and point you to the right direction. Going to your local assistance centers or LACs post-fire also to see what resources are out there. Sometimes counties will get grants, but I think a really great resource is going to be your NRCS office and your RCD offices.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Mayeda. I am the Area 1 Forester for NRCS. And we're looking at some oaks here that burned during the park fire and trying to gauge kind of the probability that they might survive or die. And one of the great ways we can do that is just see how much the bark has been burned and reduced. Our oaks are really fire resilient. They have thick bark to help insulate themselves during fire. But at times where we have really high intensity fire, high severity fire, that heat is going to eat away and burn that bark down, and that heat will actually quite literally cook the cambium of the tree. So what we're looking at here is how thick the bark in a kind of unburned area is, and then go and look at an area that had more burn and how much that bark thickness reduced. So you can see that we still have a little bit there. We didn't get all the way down to the cambium. So I have a little bit more hope for this tree. You can see the side closest to the house is going to have that heat and how charred it was. But it still didn't get all the way down. So that's good.
So you're saying that this side cooked hotter because there's a burning house right here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that resident heat time of a burning building is what really charred this side. But oaks are really good at sealing off rot. So they, you see Cooperative Extension has found that really oaks can survive with just 10% of their cambium still alive. So I think that this one has a good chance. You never quite know, but I would let this one kind of hang out and see what it does and not cut it down.
Yeah, don't cut it down right away.
So this one quite clearly, even though we still have some bark here, it obviously cooked this whole side and the bark's already sloughing off. All of this white ash just shows that things around it burned, completely combusted, burned for a long time. When we get on the back side of this, and it's not as bad.
You can, I mean, there's still intact moss there.
So, I mean, it didn't even burn there. A little more on the base. So this would be another one to watch.
So you're saying that even with like half the whole, like the bark cooked off one whole side, this still might survive?
It could. Trees always surprise us. We can never tell the future. But if this is one that we wanted to just wait and see, I would wait and see. The bigger they are, kind of sometimes it means that they can handle a little more. That being said, if they want to rebuild, this is a big tree, it would be a lot easier to get down now. So there's a difference between assessing hazard trees or trees, whether they're going to live or die near infrastructure versus out in the woods. There's a big difference there. So sometimes you might not have the luxury to wait and see.
Got it.
So that's something to think about. Because even if this lives, it's going to be dropping limbs, right? Which is actually great out in the woods because you drop a limb, you get that rot in it. It's a cavity. That's really great habitat. Right next to your house,
Not so ideal.
not so ideal. So, even though a tree can live, it's not going to be it may not be structurally sound. So it could still be a hazard. So that's one of the risk cost benefit analyses that the landowners have to take and professionals can help with. I would suggest if people are really looking at trees near their house to get an arborist to take a look at it because they deal with this all the time. They really understand the structural integrity of trees based on where the limbs are, what size they are, which ones are alive, which ones are dead. So.
Great, thank you.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Is there a way to tell if these were fire girdled in the sense of like, does anybody study like the amount of sugars that are in the leaves, or is there like a way to kind of like see if they were fire girdled? Like in 2 years, like could you be like, okay, it's still a little bit alive?
You could hack into the cambium around it and see where the cambium is alive or dead.
Right.
So if it's pink, it's alive. If there's no color, then it's dead. If it's getting sticky or if it's dry, that's dead. So you kind of just need to see where the cambium is alive or dead to see how girdled it is.